welcome back. So last video was a while ago, but today we have another exciting thing to make. So I've been crafting, even though you haven't been seeing it. Today we're going to be making another doll. Last we saw I made the video about making the Marceline doll, and she came out so cute and we love her. And today's video we're going to be making another doll. Just as cute, hopefully, a little bit different, adding some more different materials and experimenting a little bit. It's going to be fun. So far, this is what we have. This is the beginning of what is going to be our Emily/Corpse Bride. It's going to be really fun. So far, I have the legs, the bottom of the dress done, and I've kind of started on the head. I think next I'm going to transition and do the arms and the top of the dress before I go ahead and keep working on the head. That way it's a little bit easier to attach all the pieces. I've also begun trying out beading, adding some pearl beads to the waistline of the skirt, and I just kind of did that as a test to see how I like it. These beads are kind of big, but I think it's looking pretty good. And so I think we're going to add a lot of beading to this piece. Also, another exciting thing is going to be the veil, which in the pattern calls for tulle, and I don't have any tulle, but I do have this old petticoat that I had for a cosplay laying around, and I actually had it in a pile to donate, and I am so glad I hadn't taken it out yet, because this is going to be perfect for the veil. Also, I think it's going to be really perfect. I cut off some like parts of the edging of this tutu petticoat type thing, and I think I'm going to try and line pieces of the dress, maybe the end of the veil, I don't know, maybe part of the little like top of the dress, but we're going to get there and it'll make more sense. One of the things I'm most excited for this piece are going to be the eyes, and the pattern is so beautiful. I highly recommend checking it out. It's been really great so far, and I'm going to have that linked down below if you want to check it out, but it's just an absolutely beautiful pattern, and I'm really, really excited to do the eyes. The character Emily from Corpse Bride has the most beautiful, dramatic eyes and eyelashes ever, and so I think that's going to be a really exciting, important part of this piece, and I cannot wait to do that. Another thing that I am excited about for this project is that I found this yarn. It's a Bernat blanket yarn from Michaels, and this is going to be for her hair. I just think it's going to have a really dynamic look to have these different shades of blue in the hair, but we'll see. You never really know what multicolored yarn is going to look like until you start to crochet it, so hopefully it looks good. Otherwise, I will just switch to using the same blue yarn that I've used in her dress, which is just a solid color. Alright, now let's get this show on the road and start crocheting. I just spilled these beads everywhere and picked them all up and then spilled them again. So, just wanted to let you know. Okay, this is the first arm, the bones. This is like the little forearm. And then I'm going to sew that together, you know, kind of. On to the next arm, which is going to start with the blue skin. There's going to be a little bit of white in it for like a little bandage, I believe, is what's happening there. And then color change back to the blue, and then stuff it, and then we will attach them and then start to work on the bust. Okay, say a little prayer that the chenille yarn does not do the classic rip as I close the circle. Oh god. Ah! I just ripped the tail. Okay, we're gonna start over. I have some yarn scraps that I could be using for stuffing, but this stuffing is right next to me, so I like to use the back of my hook to like push the stuffing into hard to stuff pieces, you know? Also, I have serious opinions on like no sew versus sew limbs and all sorts of parts on patterns. It's just like, if you have to do no sew patterns only because you're like so against sewing pieces on, it just like It's not that hard. I like originally have come from a huge sewing background before I started crocheting, and so I understand that I'm more like adept to being able to sew things really easily. But like I tried on a no-sew pattern yesterday to attach arms onto something by just like crocheting them in, and it just like I ripped the yarn, and it was so dumb because I could have just cut a tail and sewn them on and it would have been perfect. And instead I was like, okay, the pattern says to just crochet them on, I'll just go for it. And then I ripped it and it was upsetting. So I am in so much more favor of sewing things than not sewing things. I feel like if you crochet, you should know how to sew. It's really not that hard, especially the sewing that crochet patterns require is usually so simple. I understand that like sewing with chenille yarn specifically can be frustrating, but you get better at it and it's really not that hard. It's so much better. So much better. I also, for a lot of like face details and felt things with crochet, I think they just look so much better sewn on than hot glued. And like I will use hot glue under like felt pieces like eyes or something, and then still sew around the edge of the eye to just give it like a better look, you know what I mean? So it's really secure with the hot glue, but it also looks nice and is really on there on the edges with the thread or whatever I'm using, because it just looks nicer, it's more secure, you don't get the edges peeling up, and yeah, I feel very passionate about this. So I'm going to be sewing the arms on, which is what the pattern calls for, but for patterns that don't call for sewing it on, I have learned my lesson and I'm only going to be sewing. I understand that sewing ends in are annoying, and I agree, but sewing pieces on isn't that hard, people. Weaving ends in is annoying, especially when there's a lot. Okay, I haven't cut off the tail yet, but like, this is what we got. I don't know. I think it looks good. There's a small chance I might redo the arms later. But this is what we got for now. And I'm going to work on the top of the dress next, which I'm excited for. It's going to make it look super cute. And that might help cover up some weirdness with the arms, hopefully. Or it might make it worse, and then I'll have to redo the arms. We'll see. But I'm going to break for lunch now and come back and continue on. So, okay, I decided to get a little more comfy cozy. Of course, during lunch, I decided to like try and start working on the little bust area. It was kind of like rough. I don't know. It was really hard trying to make sure that it was like symmetrically looking. I'm going to be putting the pearls along, so I think that'll help clean it up and make it look a little bit better. I'm trying to not hate it yet, but I don't know, we're gonna keep rolling with it, and I can always go back and undo some parts and redo them. So next I'm going to cozy up and work on just like getting through the head, and yeah, so that's what I'm gonna work on now. Alright, it is a new day, and hopefully the last day that I'm working on this, but there are a lot of things left to do. An update, this is the progress on the head of the doll. I had to stop because I decided the safety eyes I had, they were like 30mm, and I wanted to go even bigger. The pattern calls for 40mm, so I went ahead and ordered some, and they came yesterday, so now I can go ahead and start working on the eyes, which I need to put in before I go any farther on the head, so that's why I had to stop there. And while I stopped there, obviously I started working on the wig cap, and that is finished. So I think next is to insert the eyes and finish up on the head. So I have to finish the head, do the eyes, sew on the hairline, and finish putting the head together, the hair, and then I have to make a headband which is going to be really pretty. She has all the roses on her like headpiece in the movie, and so that's what I have to work on, and I'm gonna use this like sparkly yarn for that, and so I think that's gonna be really pretty. I'm going to attach the veil to the headband, I think, to kind of cover up the back of the head. I cut off part of the petticoat and I realized it's perfect because I was gonna pleat it all and sew it and then attach it, but I just kept this little band in here and it's already pleated nicely. And so I think I'm gonna attach this to the back of the headband because it's long with the little ruffles I want to keep at the bottom. And I think that's my plan for that. And then I also cut some more off, as well as the lace from the other piece, and I kind of started clipping them together because I think I want to layer them. I want to layer them like the little ruffles on top and then the lace under, and I want to sew this around the bottom of the dress to kind of give it a little bit of flair. And then I also need to add the pearls still. Last thing I need to do after that is work on the maggot. I don't know, I have a couple different yarns, but I think I'm going to use this one because it's a little bit more muted. And then there's going to be red and white in that as well. And yeah, I think that's everything. I also have some felt I'm going to work on the eyes with. And I've never added any sort of like detailing like whites of the eyes or anything with safety eyes on a plush before. I am a little bit nervous about doing that, but I think I'm gonna watch some videos and make sure that I don't mess that up. Without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and insert the safety eyes, I think is next. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I have an update, and now it is a little bit of a problem. The wig cap is quite large, like quite a bit larger, so big. But I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue in the end, so I've sewn it on, and she's really starting to look cute. It's starting to happen. I don't think it'll be that big of an issue because I have to make the headband, but we're going to be attaching the veil and the headband about here, I think, or at least this is how I'm gonna have to be doing it instead of farther back to cover up how big the cap is. Because the issue is I should have finished the head first, but because I was waiting on the safety eyes, I skipped ahead to the cap, and I should have been able to adjust as I was going to make the wig cap smaller, but I kind of assumed the head was going to fit a little bit bigger. But the yarn types, I guess, are just a little bit too different between the head and the hair. But she's looking cute. I'm so excited. Okay, little update. I went ahead and finished embroidering the eyes off camera because that was so stressful. This was my first time doing that, and I redid this eye 3 times. And I'm still not 1000% happy with how they look, but I think that this is just gonna take practice over time before I get better at that. But I've done her bottom eyelashes, and next I need to do the top eyelashes, which I'm gonna do out of felt. And hopefully, I'm a little nervous about cutting out the eyelashes because it's like pretty small and detailed, but we'll see how that goes. I have so many little fuzzies sticking out. But yeah, I also went ahead and did the little rib cage sticking out on her, and she has this little face scar over here, and so lots of embroidery done, and she is looking really cute. I'm a little bit, I don't know. I wish the eyes would have come out better, but I think they're okay. Hopefully it looks better once I do the top eyelashes, so I'm gonna go ahead and work on that now. Oof, this is rough. I wish that I wasn't too lazy to like set up my Cricut and try and have my Cricut cut out the eyelashes, but I haven't set that up since I moved, and also I feel like no matter what, it doesn't cut through felt all that well, at least every time that I've tried, and so we're just freehanding it and doing the best we can. Okay, actually, by itself, that actually looks kind of good. Like that, I think. Managed to get to that look pretty much almost similar. So I am gonna go find my hot glue gun and attach these little eyelashes. The eyes are finished. I also added the eyebrows, which I had previously forgot about. I think it came out really cute. I'm pretty happy with it. I wish I would have put the eyes a little bit lower now. I think I miscounted the rows when I put them on. I'm very excited. Let's see. I finished the head, the eyes, the hairline is all done. Now the ribs are done. Yeah, I need to do the headband, the veil, the pearls, the lace, the maggot, and then I will be done. I'm making a lot of progress today. I think we can finish today. But yeah, we'll see how long that headband takes because I do have to crochet a bunch of roses for that. Okay, so I decided against the pearl beads, and I just went to the craft store and got the pearl stickers instead. But I did go ahead and sew the lace trim on the bottom of the dress. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but it's really, really pretty and I love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the pearls next, and yeah. Okay, so she is all blinged out now. I'm so glad I took the patience to individually place the little pearls because they're spaced out really nicely and they look so pretty with the lace and the frilly tulle, and it's so pretty. She's got the top of her bust, and I did the front half of the waist because her hair kind of covers the back and also the veil will, so I wasn't gonna bother doing that, but I think some of the bottom will show. Need to work on the headband next and all the roses and attach the veil. Okay, so guess what? At this point, I was feeling pretty burnt out with the crocheting, and I had the idea to just go see if the craft store had any fake blue roses. I know it was a stretch of an idea, but it turns out they had perfect little rose buds on these bigger roses, so I took off the smaller buds and just hot glued them on. Okay, it is the next day and I finished last night, and I'm really, really excited to show you guys. There's yarn everywhere, fuzzy chenille little bits, pieces, cut up roses, everything. I definitely have a lot of cleaning to do, but I think it was all worth it. Okay, time for the final reveal. She's so cute. So the last thing I worked on last night that y'all didn't see was the maggot. I don't have the maggot sewn down yet. I don't think I'm going to because I kind of like the idea of being able to remove it. So I think I'm going to pin it down. It's a really nice touch, and I'm super excited how everything came out. The veil looks great and the hair pokes out. The train of the dress looks really pretty. The back is great. The sides are great. The front is great. I'm really happy with how it came out. This was a bit of a challenge for me, and I am really, really, really glad that I chose to do this pattern. I think it's absolutely amazing. I hope I've inspired you to check it out. I've linked the pattern below, and the creator is amazing and has a bunch of really cool other patterns that you should check out as well. But yeah, this was definitely a challenge. I learned a lot of new things, and that was really great. I think it was really fun to mix all sorts of materials, and I loved using these roses. I think it turned out really good. And again, I was just too lazy to crochet them at that point, and you know what? I think it worked out. I think it's really cool, and yeah, I'm super happy. She's a pretty big size too. She's a little bit bigger than the last doll that I made, which is cool. I love her, and I'm excited. I want to make another cute spooky girl doll next, and I'm really excited because I think I know which character it's gonna be. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you being here and sticking around until the end. That means the world to me. And until next time, bye!